right, everybody, we're back with a brand new Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Ball, board certified doctor of naturopathy and founder of the Integrative Health Coach or Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. So I'm excited to share this with you here today because when I read this post, I basically lit up and I said, this is something our IHP community needs, but also so many of the nurses, personal trainers, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads that are looking for kind of a second breath to their career. And I read this and I said, I need to do a show on it. So let's dive right in. The message is this: the average age of a business founder, someone that starts their business, is 45 years old. The average age of a CEO, meaning they're running a company, is 55 years old. The average age of a millionaire is 61 years old. So for me, when I read that, I'm like, wow, I'm like, all of our IHPs, so many of our IHPs who are doing this as a second career. Kids are back in school. Now they're looking to really take advantage of their calling, use their passion to turn this into what I believe, because I've seen it hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands upon thousands of times, someone taking their own journey, their own progress and turning it into a thriving career where they are providing amazing service for others out in the world. So the bottom line is this: you are not too late, not even close. So many people think, I wish I started this when I was 22 years old. I wish I got into this in my early 20s. Of course, so many of these things we always wish we had started earlier. But as the proverb goes, the best day to start was yesterday, but today is second best, right? We have to get started today. And that doesn't mean that you have to be ultimately highly successful right out of the gates. What it means is you're going to get started and you're going to begin your health career journey, right? You're going to design and develop a career path that you love going to work every day. I literally still love going to work every day. I've been doing what I do for almost 30 years. And every single day, I absolutely love it. I've been reading labs now for 20 years. And when my health coaching team brings me a lab and I get to go through it, or I get to see a new client where I see one new client a week, again, that's where I progressed in my career from one deep dive. I see other people, I see tons of cases, I read hundreds of labs each week, but I still light up like it's the first time. And the reason is that my journey took me to where I am today, which leads me to my second point. One of the reasons why people often don't found a business until 45, become a CEO until 55, a millionaire at 61, is because they don't have enough life experience, right? So I could have wanted to start earlier in my journey, no doubt about it, or progress faster, but I simply didn't have enough experience. When you have 20 years out of undergrad, you have real experience. You've tried and failed multiple times, but you've grown from those experiences. So one, you probably had your own health journey, or a family member has. Now you've learned from it. You know what to do. Like I always tell people, I only can say that now and understand that. I have that perspective, but I'm glad I didn't get well in 6 months, like we help people get well in our practice, right? I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad that it took me 10 years. Why would anybody be happy that it took 10 years for them to get well? Because I had to, in the process, read thousands of books and see about 100 different health practitioners, if not more. And although that was an enormous uphill climb and struggle the entire time, I learned so much. I would not be the practitioner I am today had I not had my own struggle, or if I had succeeded very quickly. So with you, whether it's a sick child, a sick relative, or you yourself were sick, you have a story that you're able to tell. And when you're a little bit older, which brings me to point number 3, you have a little bit more credibility. It is so difficult to, take relationship advice from someone who's 22 years old, right? Or 25 years old, or someone who isn't yet married with children yet. Like they don't have all of the perspective. Now I get it. Can they still offer great advice? Absolutely. I could still be a knowledgeable nutritionist and personal trainer at 22 years old, like I was, and even through college. Was I as good at 22 as I was at 32? Not even close. What about at 42? Not even close. right? And so, but here's the thing. It's not like it wasn't acceptable that I shouldn't start. Of course I should start, because where else can you get the experience, right? But also, I didn't even have enough life experience to know, what does it feel like when you turn 30 or 40 or getting closer to 50, right? You don't have that knowledge. You can't relate to clients in the same way. If you're a woman and you are in perimenopause or have gone through or menopause, you automatically have more, again, for better or for worse, or true or not true, it doesn't really matter. But from the average individual, you have more perspective. And that person is going to say, oh, you've successfully navigated that transition. Great. Or a man after he's 40, 45 years old, has a family, being able to fit in workouts, being able to keep muscle on, whatever like that goal is, that person's done it. They have credibility. It elevates you just for immediate buy-in. That's it. Again, it doesn't mean that the 45-year-old, 55, 65-year-old isn't going to work with the 22-year-old. Those are my clients, right? They were 35 to 65 years old. So it's not that you can't. However, I know many of my colleagues, they had that bigger built-in credibility factor, a little bit of gray hair. They had, a little bit of the aging. They're like, oh yeah, I can relate to that person. Oh, and they're in great shape. How do they do that? There's an instant attraction, be like, wow, that person's done what I want to do. And so it does help with credibility. So what I want to share with you is that you've got your personal journey. You've got all of your knowledge. You've got previous work experience. You might have a little bit, something that I talked about on my last show 2 weeks ago, is able to do this in moonlighting, right? So whatever your career is now, or taking care of the family, you can start with 30 to 60 minutes a day. And you don't have to necessarily rush into it. If you're a personal trainer right now, a massage therapist, an esthetician, a chiropractor, whatever it might be, and you want to start to move more into health coaching and reading labs at home and do all of this virtual because you want more of a virtual practice, you can start to now gradually move into this. But here's the nice thing. You're not too late, like not even close. Some of the most successful health coaches out there are going to be in their 60s. Why? Because that is a whole new wave of individuals that they've either had kids later in life, they have grandkids, and they're focused on longevity. They want to be able to exercise and move their body, but they feel like maybe people aren't going to understand them because of previous injuries, surgeries, joint pain, inflammation. And again, if you're in your 60s and you're saying, I'm in my 60s, look at me. You can have this too. You don't have to say it like that, but there's going to be that instant buy-in. And so you're going to be able to develop a niche that someone in their 20s, 30s, and even 40s can't compete with. They just can't. Like they can try, they can say, of course I can help you. And and they'll probably be able to, but you're going to have that niche locked down far better than someone who hasn't already had that struggle, who hasn't already been through it before. And that's the truth. So that is the nice thing. So what I want you to do is think about this. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. Literally, you're in the right place right now. You've had enough of life experience to make you also a better founder of your new business, of your career. So age is truly an asset, not a liability, especially as you get older. It can be a liability when you're younger, truthfully, because you just don't even know what you don't know. But as you get older in the health space, no. It is absolutely. So right now, someone would have way more clients than me if they're 72 years old and they look like they're 52. Like no doubt about it. That individual, because all of the people at 72 people are like, you're 72? I don't even believe you. How is it possible? It's instant credibility that I can't say, right? Like it's just not possible. I could say to someone at, late 40s or 50, oh, I'm going to help you improve your overall health and all those things. Different story. So remember, it is an asset. Don't look at it any other way. And also, your story is your uniqueness as well. No one can copy that. People always ask all the time, does the world really need more health coaches? Well, the world really does. There's about 120,000 of us. That's it, right? Well, there's about 3.3 billion people online. 120,000, 3.3 billion. Everybody has a health issue. Right? Everybody has a health issue. So remember, There can be way more of us, right? Way more of us. When it gets to be like tens of millions, maybe we'll have a discussion. We're at 120,000, right? So this is a perfect time to get started, a perfect time to share your story and be uniquely you. So remember, success isn't about when you start. It's about consistency, perseverance, and staying in the game. Don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Begin to share your story openly. Take care, everybody. Hopefully this was helpful. We will share all of the big show notes from today's show and many others over at ihp.coach/podcasts. And if you haven't already learned what the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute is all about, head on over, check it out, download the brochure, and set up a complimentary call. All right, take care, everybody. Talk with you soon.